Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima BaseLine Roof Rack with JetStream Crossbars, and we're going to see how it fits, how it looks, and how it installs on our 2024 Chevy Colorado. Now you may ask yourself why someone would need a roof rack on a pickup truck when they've got all this storage space in the back, but the truth is a lot of people opt to do it, and there's several reasons why. One, you could end up, having a truck bed that's open all the time. You got a lot of stuff in there and, it's dirty and things like that. You don't have a tonneau cover to keep it covered. A roof box attachment up on a roof rack like this could be a really good way to store some items out of the cab of your truck that aren't going to get dirty or wet or anything in the back of the truck or get damaged by any of the stuff you have rumbling around back there. Another reason would be if you had a ladder rack on your truck and you were carrying some things from time to time that go out over the cab, and you just want that extra load support here to protect the roof of your truck. Finally, the other reason would be you just have something that's way longer than the bed, so like a kayak or a canoe or something like that you would want to put up here. That way it can extend the whole length. You don't have it kind of half hanging out of your truck bed or driving around with the tailgate down just to accommodate that extra length with all the red flags and things like that you'd have to put back there. So this particular roof rack is going to have arrow bars. They're called JetStream Crossbars. They're going to be a lot quieter because of their shape than your typical round or square bars. It's also going to have an overhang here, so it's going to give us 50 total inches of bar space that we're going to be able to load things up on. It'll accommodate your clamp style or your T-track accessories. The T-track is accessed through the end cap here. You can simply push down and slide your accessories across. They're going to have a 165-pound weight capacity, but you always want to double check your owner's manual and see what that roof capacity is. Whichever one is lower is the weight limit you're going to have to stick with. So from up here, we're going to talk a little bit about how it fits on the roof of the Colorado. Your fit kit is going to include a couple of things. One is going to be these clamps that are going to go on the outside around your door frame. And the other are going to be these kind of contoured rubber pads that are going to go underneath your towers. And they're contoured to fit right around this molding right here and really kind of fit perfectly up on the roof. So we're going to take a couple of measurements up here. When you are installing these, Yakima has a table with several different numbers that you're going to have to go through, and they're going to be placed in a very, very specific way. So we don't really have the ability to move these forward and back without doing a ton of guessing and tweaking. We set these up exactly as Yakima suggested. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is our crossbar spread. Now the crossbar spread is the distance between the two bars, and that's really important to know because that's going to help you understand what kind of accessories can go up here. All rooftop accessories have a minimum and a maximum crossbar spread. So if we're going from center of the T-track to center of the T-track, we're going to end up with a crossbar spread of 32 inches, and that for me is perfect. Most crossbar spreads, minimum, maximum, they're going to fall somewhere in between that 25 to 35 inch range. 32 inches is great as far as I'm concerned. That's going to accommodate most rooftop accessories that I can think of. The other thing we're going to take a look at is how much height is this adding to the vehicle. Now, it's not going to come out taller than this antenna back here, as you can see, but remember, you are going to be adding things on top of it. So knowing this number and adding it to the height of your accessory is going to help you understand what kind of rooftop clearance you have. And from the roof to the top of the bar, we're at 4 3/4 inches, so that's the number you would have to add on to your accessory to understand the clearance. The other thing we'll take a look at is the distance under the bar to the roof, which is going to come in at just a little over 3.5 inches, but that's more than enough room for any of those clamp-mounted accessories to be able to grab onto it. Now, Yakima roof racks can be a little bit more complicated to install than other manufacturers' roof racks for the simple fact that their towers allow you to do more things with the bar. Most manufacturers, you just put the tower, connect the tower to the crossbar, and that's it. With Yakima, though, it allows you to adjust the pitch angle a little bit, along with a few other things. So stick around. We are going to show you how we got these up on our roof, and we're going to show you all those different, things that you have to tweak in order to get them on correctly. So to begin our installation, we're going to go ahead and get everything laid out. We've got our crossbar here, our tower, the pieces of our fit kit, We've got our tower cover, our Yakima tool, and our tape measure. And this is all we're really going to need. We're going to start with our tower assembly. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is get our clamp installed. So in order to do that, we're going to lift back on this gray tab. We're going to see this block with a bolt running through it right here. And underneath, we could see under that block, there's a tab and a hook under here. We're going to take our clamp and we're going to insert it right through there. And from the underside, you're going to see how it hooks into the back of it. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and close this for now, and that's going to keep it in place and keep it from falling out. The next thing I'm going to want to do is use my Yakima tool, and I want to loosen this bolt as much as I can. I don't want to loosen it so much that it's coming out, but as you tighten this bolt, it actually brings the angle of our clamp downward. I want it loose so that I've got all the play I can. I can adjust that downward after I get it up on the roof. So the next step on our tower after that is to take our foot pad here, and with the open cavity facing the outside, basically where the clamp is, we're going to go ahead and just snap this on into place. Once we've got that secured on there, we're going to move over to our bar. At this point, we're going to go ahead and pop off our end cap here. And then we're going to use this metal block at the top is going to slide through this track like a T-slot. And we're just got to make sure that both the metal and the plastic tabs get underneath that. Once we have that on there, we're going to go ahead and replace our end cap so it doesn't accidentally come off. Now, our next step is going to be to take back this tab right here. We want to pull it all the way out until it clicks. And what that's going to do is expose this bolt right here. This bolt is going to be the one that tightens this down onto our bar. Now, when you're looking in your instructions, the front bar and the back bar both have two different pitch angles because of the slope where the front bar is on the roof. So in order to do that, you're going to see in your instructions the P2 measurement of A, B, or C, and that's what these three little hash marks are. A at the top, B in the middle, C at the bottom. So for the front bar, what we had to do was position our tower slanted like this before tightening it down so we can get the correct pitch angle. Our second bar is easy though. It's pitch angle B. Right in the middle, all we got to do is keep it straight on here. Now another measurement that you're going to see in there is our distance between the crossbars. This is an older crossbar, so it's a little faded on here, but you are going to have a ruler basically on the outside of your track to help you figure out exactly where your towers need to be placed. So on our second bar, the measurement in our instructions between the two towers is the M3 measurement, which gives us 36 3/4 inches. So I'm going to put my tower flush onto the bar, and I'm going to maneuver this until it gets to the hash for 36 3/4, which is right there. And keep in mind, we do want to keep it on the middle position here for the pitch, so we're just going to tighten this straight down into place from here. And the Yakima tool is a torquing tool. So once you get it tight enough, you're going to hear a loud pop, just like that. And that means it's going to be secured onto the bar. At this point, I could reach back around to the front, close this tab till it clicks, and that's going to cover up that bolt head. So with our crossbar assembled, let's talk a little bit about placement. In your instructions, you'll see an M2 measurement with a number on it. What that number indicates is where our front bar needs to be located in relation to the roof. Now that measurement is taken from the edge of the paint up here by your windshield to the very front of the foot pad on our tower. And that measurement for our front bar called for 9 inches. So we already have this bar set, and the reason we did that is because our front bar location is what's going to determine our second bar location. Now that measurement is taken from the very front edge of this crossbar to the very front edge of our second bar, and it calls for 32 inches. So we're going to get our bar up here on the roof, and we're not going to clamp anything down yet until we make that measurement on both sides. We want to make sure it's even on both sides because that's what's going to guarantee that our crossbars are perfectly parallel to each other. So I'm just going to get this in the neighborhood of, 32 inches. You can go ahead and measure it out if you need to. But what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the clamp goes to the outside of the roof, and I'm getting my foot pad just kind of right in those grooves as perfectly as I can so it can sit in these channels just like it's supposed to. But now that I've got it set up here, I'm going to grab my measuring tape and I'm going to make sure I've got that 32 inches on each side from the front of the front bar to the front of the second bar. So now we've got it at 32 inches on each side, so I know my bar is exactly where I need it to be. Next step I'm going to take is going to be to grab the Yakima tool. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this tab up again, this little door in here. Take my Yakima tool, and through this bolt, and this is the bolt that's connected to the block, the metal block that's hooked onto the top of our clamps, and I'm going to start tightening it down. Now, I'm only going to tighten it until I feel it start to get a little bit snug. At that point, I want to go over to the other side and I want to do the same thing. Now, the reason being is I don't want to completely tighten one side down without tightening the other down with it. It could go out of place really easily. You could end up having to undo everything and reset it. It's better to incrementally tighten it down on each side, a little bit at a time, and just slowly make sure that everything stays in place as you do it. Now, just remember as we're tightening this, it is a torquing tool, so we're going to be listening for that pop. And there we have it. Once that's done, we'll get our door closed, just like that. All right, now it's time to put on our tower covers. While I have it off, as you get it out of the box, it really just comes with these plastic twist locks on it. I would definitely suggest that you go ahead and you get a metal key lock and key just to help keep it a lot more secure. The way it is right now, anybody really with a flathead or something can come along, get these off, and if they really wanted to, get this removed, steal them, steal whatever you've got up on them. So I would highly, highly suggest that you get yourself locks for each of your towers with new keys. Now, the cool thing is Yakima uses what they call their SKS or same key system, meaning you can order locks and keys from us through Yakima that will match all of your other Yakima accessories. You can get them all keyed alike if you want to. That's going to help you out with some organization down the line, and you won't be fighting for which Yakima key goes with what. But we're going to put our tower cover on now, and what we have down here are two tabs at the bottom that are going to go into place right here. But the strange thing about the Colorado that makes it a little bit different is I had mentioned earlier by loosening this up, it gets our pitch angle of our clamps out as far as they could go. They really are all the way out to their extreme basically on the roof of the Colorado, so it can be a little tricky getting these on. One of the things that I like to do is because it's out so much at this angle, you can get these on the clamps, but then your twist lock up here doesn't clear this. So you could play around with it a little bit. What I found works for me is that I get the tabs in place, reach up here with my finger, and just kind of push that tab lock down past where it needs to go. There we go. And now that it's in place, if you got locks in it, you could go ahead and lock it, keep everything safe. But these are on here. They're on here really, really tight and solid, so you're ready to load them up and hit the road for your next adventure. So that's really it for the installation. Not as easy to install as some of the other manufacturers, as I mentioned before, but having the ability to maneuver the pitch and things like that could help you out with different loads down the line. I do think they've got a nice kind of streamlined look for it. Aesthetically, these do look good up here on our Colorado, and if you decide that the Yakima Roof Rack is the roof rack for you in your Colorado and you get them, you install them, you get to use them a little bit, please tell us what you think about them in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with our other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.